Good morning, good day, and good evening to all the followers from all over the world, wherever you're watching me from. This is a message of hope. This is a message of affirmation. This is a message of encouragement to say that suicide is not an option. I know that for the past few days and weeks we have focused a lot on the topic of suicide because of the many suicide encounters that we have experienced, especially in the Celebville. But for some reasons, as we moved along, we ended up taking that topic lightly and thinking that it's over and done with. But in all honesty, I believe that the relevant time to speak about such topics is not by us being reactive, but we have to be proactive, where we talk about suicide when things are normal, when there's no incident and there's no public figure case, or when there's nothing that really pushes us to talk about suicide. These are the things that we need to talk about when things are just calm and normal like this one. I know that while the country was still busy focused on the issue of suicide, especially after the Rick incident, we quickly shifted from that topic and focused on the issue of Russia and Ukraine, in so much that it's like now it's business as usual. We'll again sit and wait until the next suicide incident happens. So basically, I see a feedback from Unonzuzo Ndlovukazi Majigijela, who is a former schoolmate from WUSU, formerly known as Eastern Cape Technikon. He's saying depression is the result of suicide, so cause should be dealt with. That's a very valid point, and I'm in full agreement of that fact, that depression is the actual cause of suicide. In other words, once we deal with depression, then we have automatically dealt with suicide. So what I was still saying earlier, then before the comment came through, I was saying that as per the theme of this video, suicide is not an option. I have shared in my book, the first book that I've written in 2020, I've also shared my own suicide encounters and my own experiences and challenges, which really led me to that dark, depressed, and hopeless space in my life, where I really didn't see any way forward. I really didn't see any solution. I really didn't see anything to live for. But speaking to you today, though things may not be 100% where I want them to be, but I'm definitely not in the place where I used to be before. So there's multiple kinds of theories around depression. Some are labeling it as a medical condition which is as a result of chemical imbalances. Some are actually associating it with traumatic experiences that people go through, which end up making them to be depressed. And others are then just downplaying it and just saying it's just people seeking for attention, people just being petty and soft and weak and all of that. But others, there's also another group of people who are saying it's a spiritual attack which is demon infested and demon influenced. But I do not really want us to go to those logistics of what is causing depression. Anyway, I believe that my people here will also come through to the comment section. But where my major and my immediate focus is now is on the fact that suicide is not an option. I know that when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel that pain, when you feel that heaviness in your heart, it feels like the only way through which you must get out of that problem is for you to kill yourself. If you need to seek for medical attention, then it's better you do that. If you need to meet a psychologist, a psychiatrist to open up and to offload, it's better that you should do that. When you kill yourself, you are actually terminating life. It's just that in this instance is your own life. You actually neglecting, or rather preventing yourself from experiencing positive things in life. That might, because there's no situation that is permanent. There's no situation that exists eternally. Eventually, the problem that seems bigger now, the problem that seems to be overwhelming you right now, when you look at it 3 years from now, you will see it and look at it as something that really was not really worth for you to even contemplate suicide. There is still a better story to be written about your life. There's still better opportunities for you. There's still great things that you must still experience in this life. If you are stressed because you are in a relationship, you are in a marital setup, even though society expects you to endure, to stay and all, you rather lose everything else. You rather move yourself out of the equation. You rather take yourself out of every toxicity. But please don't allow yourself to lose yourself with the situation that you are going through. You can lose material things. You can lose your job. You can lose your business. You can lose the ministry. You can lose all the opportunities that are there. I've also been through that. But please, do not lose yourself in the process. Talk to someone. I'm mostly directing this message to my male counterparts. Even though suicide has no gender, but I know that we are the ones who are more affected by the after effects, which are mostly leading to suicide. Not that women are more stronger than us, but at least they have some coping mechanisms which are far more detailed than us. With them, they are able to face their issues head on. They are able to confide to a close friend, relative, someone from church, a psychologist and all. But sadly, our own weakness as men is that we do not want to talk to anyone. We keep things boiling on the inside. And we get overwhelmed to a point of not seeing a way forward. So basically what I'm trying to say here, even if it has to help at least one person, I want to say to you, suicide is not a solution. I have seen the grace of God abounding in my life, taking me from that dark, depressed hole which made me to see death and smell it with my nose. When even the prophets were telling me that I will not live long enough to see 2014 coming to an end. At some point I was even given a death date to say that on the 16th of December I will die. 16 being the day that I was born. Yet it was prophetically converted to my death date. My wife getting in and out of hospital. One of my children being sick. Situation being hopeless, losing ministry, losing a business, losing career, losing everything, having friends turning their backs on me. You see, having my name being slandered all over the country, being falsely accused of things that I didn't do. And even those things that I had done but were exaggerated and spiced up to make them look bad and more bigger than what they really are. So I've been through all of those things. So what I'm trying to say is that you are not the first person that goes through the problem that you're going through, and you are also not the last person either. You see, some depression is temporary. Other depression is sadly chronic. And the psychologists and psychiatrists are the ones who are going to determine the kind of depression that you have and the kind of treatment that is needed for you. There's also a lot of coping mechanisms which are going beyond medical and antidepressants. You see, other people, they don't need really many things, but what they need is just to be surrounded by love. They need to be surrounded by people who are empathetic towards them, people who are understanding, and people who are able to listen and hear them out. As someone who's counseled and motivated many people with depression, with suicide thoughts, people who wanted to give up on life, I can tell you now, more than anything else, people who are going through hopeless situations, the majority of the major thing that they need is someone to be there for them. Someone who's going to lend an ear. Someone who is going to give them that hope to say that it shall get well with you. Depressed people need to be given that shoulder to lean on, to say that even though the situation might be hopeless now, but it shall not remain hopeless forever. They need to be assured that it's okay to be not okay. It is okay not to be okay. It is okay to have a breakdown. It is okay to lose it. It is okay to not have things figured out. It is okay to have a failed business. It's okay to fail. It's okay to not have things working out for you. It's mostly attacking people who are in the public space, celebrities, mentors, people that we look up to, because they must always live a life that shows perfection at the expense of them cracking, at the expense of them at times faltering and going through challenges like all of us. But because as followers we get to be merciless to them. We are not expecting our beloved celebrities to go through marital challenges. We are not expecting our marriage experts to go through divorce. And sadly, that's what is happening now. We must just be patient with one another. We must understand that we are people, we are human beings. Mistakes are inevitable. Failures and weaknesses are inevitable. We will not always have things figured out. There are times where we will falter, but we must be kind and patient with each other. And we must know that in the midst of all hopelessness, God remains faithful. If you look back at all the things that are overwhelming you now and causing you to even think and contemplate suicide, if you as an outsider would also have an overview of the very same things that you are looking at which are overwhelming you, the other person, when he looks at those things, he does not see them with the same eyesight and the same eye level as you. Because when you are inside, but the one who's outside has a different outlook of it. Sometimes what overwhelms us is our perception of our problems more than what we are actually going through. I'm here to challenge men. I know that this is not a gender issue, but I'm talking because men are the ones who seem to commit suicide more than women. And I'm here to tell men that it's okay to be broke as a man. It's okay to have a challenge of not having a source of income as a man. It's okay to be dependent on other people for financial support. It's okay as a man to feel weakness and vulnerability. This thing of that men should not cry, it's one of the many things which are contributing. This thing of men not being allowed to show their vulnerability, their weaknesses and their failures, and it's one of the contributors, so much that we as men end up keeping things inside us. And then they end up boiling and exploding. Sadly, the people who are around us end up being affected by now our explosion of things that probably hurt us 15 or 50 years back, which they were not even part of, but now the explosion happens in their presence. You see, so let us really not give too much pressure to our beloved people around us. It's okay not to be okay. Suicide is not an option. I've seen God delivering people from this thing of suicide. I've seen God, and I've seen also psychiatrists doing a great job helping people going out of depression and suicidal thoughts. I've seen people throwing their poison inside the drain and in the toilet seat. People who have concluded that it's over for them. And the Lord gave us just one word, one simple word, and we spoke that word and it changed things for them. Because before the change physically that you need, the first change that you need is the change on the inside. Sometimes we are more overwhelmed by the storm on the outside, which is the storm of financial troubles, the storm of marital challenges, the storm of all the things that are not going outside. So much that we end up not being able to contain the storm on the inside, which is the storm of doubt, the storm of fear, the storm of low self-esteem, the storm of hatred and bitterness and uncertainty, and all the things that are inside us. So the greatest storm that is more dangerous is not the financial problems. It's not anything that is not going good outside. The greatest storm that is more dangerous is a storm on the inside. It's the one that you keep in you, keeping things and acting like everything is okay. Once that one explodes, everyone on the outside and around you suffers the consequence. You see, when you kill yourself, you leave your beloved people out there. You leave your children, you leave your partner, you leave your colleagues, your churchmates, your relatives, your neighbors, being more devastated than you. You put many people in a very serious predicament. You leave them asking themselves what they could have done better to change your situation, especially those who have not even given a chance to try and reach out and assist you. So I beg you, somebody, I beg you, I'm not an expert in these things. I'm also a student. This is not a topic that any of us can claim to master. But I'm saying to you, suicide is not an option. If you feel overwhelmed, find someone to talk to. Find a relative, find a neighbor, find a pastor, find a psychologist, find a friend to confide and offload. If it means that you talk to people who are strangers that you don't even know, that's okay if you feel that you will be ashamed to talk to those that you know. Suicide is not an option. Thank you.